Hello tubies. In the previous video I spoke, my empathy series, I'm sorry, I spoke about how psychism applies to witches in the modern world today, and that of the past, of course. I didn't explain much more of the history actually, but this video will be more or less in depth of what you can do with your gifts of empathy and the debate at hand. I'm sorry, and I'll get to that further on in the series, but I have to explain the importance of being empathic and how it applies, and within this video I'm going to explain that. So let's say, for example, you've discovered you're empathic. You seem to know how others are feeling, you seem to sense what may be going on in their lives as a mirrored type of reflection. Kind of like, that's how you portray it. That's how you understand it, is by experiencing it. That is basically how one knows that they're empathic. So you may notice, you notice you're an empath. What now? Believe it or not, it may be one of the low-scale forms of the sixth sense, but it is one that I am very glad that I have. Because it's a gift, nonetheless, from the universe, and we must use it, accordingly. Not everybody can do it. I mean, just like some can be clairvoyant, not all are. It is very beneficial. At times, especially if you're going into the field of sociology, psychology, or counseling, therapies, and things of that nature. If you're empathic, you might be, within a coven setting, you might be it's very beneficial, especially if you're a high priesthood. It's incredibly beneficial if you're a healer, so you are able to understand what they're going through. So yeah, you get this idea, sense of things. And my past vlog was about how empathy and shielding was difficult with spirit interaction. Now, reverting into spirits, sorry. Empathy is great when dealing with spirits. You may not see them or physically sense them around, but you will know their experience, what they may be feeling. You may not sense the sex, you may not sense the race or their names, but you'll know what they're going through, so you know what you're basically dealing with. If you know you're dealing with something angry, you can plan according. Now, my vlog a while back was on whether or not we would still be able to do so with our psychic shields up. And if you recall what psychic shielding is, you really get your gears grinding about this because you don't fully understand it. The purpose of shielding, and this is important for empaths, and I did a video on that as well, the one I use, and it is very important for empaths to put up shields because anything will bleed over to you, and if you're unprepared for it, ungrounded, etc., 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 it can stay with you for a very long time. Bump into somebody who's depressed, it's going to stick with you for a while. So you begin to learn that shielding is good, even if it's just a quick shields up. But you learn to do something, and you work around that. So, lost my train of thought. So yeah, okay, shielding's important. I forgot where I was going with this entirely. Okay, yeah, back on track. Shielding basically blocks out all the energies that come towards you, and it's for this exact same reason that empaths, which I just found out recently, so don't jump me, but it's also bad for empaths to wear black, because black acts as the battery. It sucks in energy and retains it, and it sucks in the positive as well as the negative. So it's better to refract all of that negativity by wearing white. So you block out all negativity that way, and you block it all out with your shield. So you're protected. But then the question lies, if you're protected, how do you get messages through, the positive ones that you might want? Well, from the deliberation on my channel, what we've noticed is that you would have to basically bring down your shields. It's a risk. The same thing that a medium would have to do, risk themselves for the cause. You can't, I mean, of course you hear stories that, you know, spirit possessions, they kill you, yada yada yada, they don't do that, but they can make you very sick, very vulnerable, very, enter your life with a lot of negativity, but that was the whole question. So when dealing with spirits, my conclusion is on the subject, like I said, you would have to bring down your shields. But be aware and at least know the knowledge of... At least know the knowledge of how to quickly put it up when the need arises. After all, quite honestly, the gift isn't entirely important in that sort of setting. So if you're trying to go through a haunted house, trying to rid an evil entity from a house, then, you know, you're not using that big of a role, really, because you're just trying to understand the nature of the spirit. Now, unless you know entirely how to regress the spirit, what to deal with it, if it's a spirit at all, is it just real energy, is it a poltergeist, is it some crazy person, yada yada yada. Unless you don't know that entirely, you're wasting your time. So why risk it? I myself would, because I personally, if I was in the position of the spirit, I would want to be regressed as well. But, so, I mean, and it's really something I love to do. I've already regressed a spirit once. I think I'd made a video on that too. And, so yeah, but that was the whole deliberation on my channel. And, I had actually made a shielding technique for specifically empaths. There we go, that's what I'm trying to say. I have actually found some stones that increase one's empathy. I don't know why one would want that, but I guess certain times call for desperate measures. And for some, I know their psychic senses are also seasonal, so that could be beneficial. Yeah, but that's basically the surrounding equation of my whole vlog, what the argument is about. I'll make another video series on this later. I'll probably come up with something more to add to it. But yeah, comments, video response, anything. But everybody have a safe, magical night. I am gone for the night. I am so going to bed. Bye.